Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to some more Let's Play the Occult Chronicles. It's time to fire up another investigator and get him out there and try to stop the next creature or horribleness which is going to infest the mansion and attempt to bring about mankind's demise. Let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so since it's going to be probably 1 to 2 weeks from the first mission, the Key and Gate, it's now a little closer to Halloween, and I think we will attempt to do the Elder next. Despite the loss of 2 entire tactical operations teams, Operation Driven Stake has been a major success. The vampire clans have been smashed, 2 elders have been destroyed, and those remaining have been driven into hiding. Mop-up operations continue apace, and recent intelligence indicates that some minor Nosferatu elements might have taken refuge in an abandoned Corvinus manor. Your assignment is to visit the manor and determine the nature and extent of any vampire clan activity that is ongoing there. You should begin your survey in the morning and plan to finish before dusk to ensure your safety. Alright everyone, as before, we will lower the story speed down to slow, difficulty agent, and Reaper mode. Now, what type of character should we choose for this one? We played a mage in the last one. That was fun. I think we'll play a psychic this time. I have modded this mission, actually just finished, the creatures, and I would like to test to make sure everything's working. We'll play a female girl psychic. What do we want to call her? Kira. Kira Ione we'll go with. For her background, well, what do I think I want here? If I'm gonna play a psychic, why don't we play... Well, I mean, we could start her as an accountant. That's actually really interesting. What does she gain here? Resist horror edges, persuasion, perception, intellect, wand's item, fire talisman. So she doesn't gain any starting stats, and D6 sanity is generally very bad. So this would probably be the most difficult of the mentalist types characters to play, or psychic characters. Talent, psychic edge, random wands item, fire talisman, 5 skill points, puzzle lore. That persuasion, deception, edge is actually kind of useful for a starting character. Why not? We'll try an accountant. Well, and again, yeah, we'll play an accountant. So not necessarily a... Well, an accountant's someone who has heroic feats, but she's not a psychic. That's at least not right off the bat, Tim. You'll have to take points into it somehow to do so. No, I wanted to play a psychic, so we'll choose I think we'll choose a mentalist. You knew you had the talent from the moment that you were born, maybe even before that. You've managed to harness it and control it, but you realize that you are walking the razor's edge. Using your talent seems to pull at the fabric of fate, and bad things can and will happen. Luckily, the odd has been there to help keep you sane. So she'll gain a psychic talent edge, she will earn a random psychic talent, so she'll have some combat capability. She'll have a random wands item, which tend to be really useful, a fire talisman, and 5 starting skill tokens to help her level up immediately. For her background, we begin with a bone of wands. So this is tricky. If I intend her to cast magic, then I'm not going to want to take a bone of pentacles because we can earn that. If I want her to take trap evasion later on, then I don't want the bone of cups, because I can get that or later on as well. This is really, really tricky. We'll go with the bonus swords. She won't be that great at using weapons to start, or in this game. So, we'll pick this. And now for her starting edge. So, actually, let's take her skills first. So, I like putting 2 points into everything at the start. And now, we'll take another point into... wands or pentacles? Let's place it into pentacles. And now I'm going to do something I probably shouldn't do. I could lower my wands to 1 and spend my first 5 experience points increasing my wands by 2 points. Assuming that Mentalist lets me take wands and then wands again. Alternatively, you could just keep your swords very low and just say that she will never use any weapons. And that would let me take cups up to 3. No, I'm not comfortable with that. We'll take 2 of each, and then we'll increase health by 2 and sanity by 1. For her starting edge, let's give her something that will help her with traps. We'll grab wow, I can't pronounce this. Preternatural senses? Wow. Preternatural senses. We'll just go with that. So she'll draw more cards during evade traps challenges. Alright, here she is. Let's go ahead and start. No talking during the creating mission. I apologize in advance if the game crashes. If it crashes a great deal during our time adventuring, no one will see this part, because I'm going to have to try to debug what I got wrong in the game files. I haven't done too much other modding of the game, beyond adjusting the Elders encounters. And even then, there were only 3 that needed tweaking, because most of the encounters actually let you deal with them via magic, physically, or psychically. So I just had to add a sorcery and psychic option when fighting the protectors, which we will encounter throughout the mansion. Wow, this is taking a while. This is generally not a good sign. We could come back. Oh, holy crap, it loaded just as I thought about canceling it. Alright, so the first thing we should do is take a look at our character. Wands is the first thing here, and we should probably take it immediately. So we're just going to spend 5 points to increase our wands by 1. Next, let's take a look at our edges. Energy focus. If you possess at least 1 psychic talent card, X is subtracted from the start of any psychic or combat challenge, where X is a random number between 1 and the level of the edge. Okay, so this will make it a little easier for us to do all the combats in this game. We start with Banished Spirit. Roll 1 bone and select a not revealed trick card, and then reveal it. Add your Wands attribute to your trick-taking score if the revealed card is a non-face card. Then add a trick to the field if space is available. Okay, gotcha. So that works similarly to the sorcery one I was using before, which lets me pick a card. If it's a face card, I gain points. This is pick a card. If it's not a face card, gain points. We have a tablet, which is also giving us +1 wands. We can use it once per challenge. It's used in lore. I get to select a card in my hand. It's random, and bump it up +X. So we should use this at the start of every single lore attempt we make. It doesn't appear to have any limit to the uses that we have for it. I'm thinking with our 3 points, although no, let's hold on to it. If we get some early experience points, we can grab a skill card immediately. And I'll probably take, I guess, something that increases my pentacles. Cups could also be nice. I don't think there's anything that increases cups and pentacles, though. Alright, well, let's now look at the game itself here. So this is the other starting area. I don't think we had this one during the last game. I can't remember. I haven't watched the last video. I don't remember what it was like on the first floor. It's been so long. So, walking here, it is generally a giant mistake, because you'll end up in this pit, which will cause you to fall down below, and then you're dead because you're in the basement, and you don't know how to get back up out of the basement. And we've seen the basement, or the cellar, and that's filled with horrible traps and nightmarish creatures. Actually, the first thing we should do is go back to the main menu. That way the game actually saves. It did take a while to create that game. Alright, so let's start by heading off to the left. I usually go left first because it requires one less step to get me there. A locked door. You see a locked wooden door. There is a worn keyhole right where it belongs, but no sign of a key anywhere. Oh, we can try to pick it. You examine the lock mechanism and decide that you just might know how to finesse it open. It's a good hand, especially for our first lockpick attempt. We just have to hope we get swords or cups up there. We win. The lock opens. You are just as talented with the lock as you thought. The mechanism clicks, and you turn the knob to open the door. Unfortunately, we didn't get many successes, so that's not going to give us much in the way of rewards. That will be a mistake to enter this early in the game. I can't think of any reason to go into the garden, the conservatory. Actually, no, Tim, there could be the faces could be in here. You should explore it. Oh, one of these could be the Teldrati scientist. Another one of these could be the portal device. It could be a very hostile plant, in which case we're dead. Or it could be the busts. We'll check this spot. Teldrati generator. You're confronted with a strange machine that seems to hiss and crackle with otherworldly energy. There is something very odd going on here. You sense that it might be dangerous to get too close. The technology reminds you vaguely of the photographs that you saw that were taken during the first interdimensional war against the Teldrati. This might be a portal generator, and if so, that is bad news. You remember what happened at Tunguska in 1908. You were happy to put some distance between yourself and this strange energy, and you were pretty sure it won't be pursuing you. You seem to watch out for any Teldrati that might be nearby. The broken circle. Your eyes are immediately drawn to the dancing flames. They seem to have no source of fuel, but are confined to a chalk circle enclosing a pentagram. At each point, a small votive candle still burns. Then you notice the robed body sprawled out on the wooden floor. You step closer. As you advance step by step, you begin to feel uneasy. You sense a powerful evil presence in the room, and a chill runs down your spine. A face takes form in the flames, and you stop in your tracks. It seems to stare into your soul, and you are afraid. This thing bound within the pentagram is demonic. Of that there can be no doubt. You must focus your mind and overcome the swelling sense of panic that the creature's gaze has sent through your entire being. A king and a queen is very nice for a horror check. Hopefully one card will show up here we can use them on. This early in the game, winning horror challenges is very important, because it can give you a little bit of sanity, and more importantly, you don't want to lose any. You have kept your sanity, and you break eye contact with the flaming demon. You'll know better than to look it directly in the eyes again. You've stumbled upon the scene of demon summoning gone wrong. The power within the pentagram circle has obviously lashed out at its would-be master and killed him outright. What the hell was he doing here? Avoiding contact with the demon's fiery eyes, you examine the scene more closely. You notice that the chalk circle has been broken ever so slightly. This must be what led to the demise of the robed figure lying prostrate before you. Who knows what this poor evil soul had in mind that would compel him to consort with demons? You must tread carefully here. We could try bargaining with it. We have an okay chance of winning that. The same thing with banishing it. We'll try bargaining, though. If we fail, we're going to have to fight it, just as a heads up. Well, and by fighting it, we'll force it back into the pentagram. We'll try this at least once. With the chalk circle broken, you wonder why the demon has not attacked you. Perhaps you could try and communicate with it and see what it wants. It's a choice that should be considered carefully. You know from your training that the demon will seek to deceive and dominate you. That's a fantastic hand. Oh, I thought this was a Persuasion Lord chance? Does it not work that way? What does this work on? Oh, non-faced played card. Random non-faced played card. Okay, gotcha. So not a card in my hand. So I should get used to using it. That made this into an 8. Alright, well, we won. Initiating the communication via the lost sign language of Chaldash, you establish contact with the demon. It claims to be a prince of hell, but you suspect it exaggerates. It wants you to do something for it, and it promises to reward you if you hold to the bargain. Wow! We gain a heroic feat. That is amazing. The demon wants your help and threatens to kill you and take your soul, just as it did this sorry acolyte lying at your feet if you do not cooperate. In this house, a worthless servant of his has been trapped in a ritual of summoning. It was bound by the acolyte to a fireplace as a crude joke. On its mantelpiece is an old slip of paper with writing on it. Bring the paper back here so that he can release his servant and punish him. If you do this, he promises a reward fitting your task. I can't believe we immediately got a heroic feat. So this lowers a number of unrevealed trick cards down -X, where X is what we roll. We then also get to draw a bunch of cards into our hand. It's an amazing feat, even though it doesn't affect face cards. However, if we still fail the challenge, we end up the chance of getting a card that affects us. We lost, I think, is it health? All health cards we have the chance of drawing are doubled if we fail the challenge. Oh, hello. An organ room. Then the possessed organ will be in here. Haven't had to battle versus a possessed organ since our darker purpose. We have found a clue. You notice that all the mirrors that you have encountered have been broken. We have 4 experience. I'm thinking we're going to grab a skill card, something that we can improve our cups with. The Haunted Pipe Organ. You see before you a large and ornate Baroque pipe organ. The bench before it sits empty. Suddenly your ears are filled with the haunting sounds of music resounding from the organ's pipes. The melody is terrifying, and you watch astonished as a ghostly vapor encompasses the musical instrument. You struggle to keep your fear in check. The haunting music threatens to drown you in a sea of melancholy and despair. Something supernatural possesses this musical instrument, and you must resist its efforts to chip away at your sanity. You have kept your sanity. You shield yourself by humming a simple show tune that's bothered you for the last few months. You chuckle ironically at the fact that such a bad jingle that annoyed you for so long actually came in handy. You stand before the pipe organ and struggle to make sense of what you have just seen and, more importantly, heard. There is a powerful spirit bound to this musical instrument via some nefarious sorcery or curse. You can feel the anger and rage building within it. You suspect it is getting ready to assault your mind again. We can communicate with the spirit. We have a good chance of doing so. We could also destroy it. Looks like that's not that hard for us. But let's try to talk with it. You seek to use your talents as a medium to contact the spirit inhabiting the pipe organ and divine what it is that binds it to this world. If you can figure out what is holding it from returning to the spirit world, you might be able to free it. Oof, well, this will be somewhat tricky. I'm going to fail the challenge and risk taking some hits in return for getting a better card draw. You reach out with your mind and recoil at the enormity of the pain that confronts you. The negative energy that has accumulated around this nexus is astounding. Its attack leaves you nearly unconscious and in great pain. Try again. Nope. That is more like it. Of course, we do need a Wands card. Your mind establishes contact with the spirit. You recognize immediately that what you are dealing with is the agony of hundreds of tormented souls. No, not souls, but a psychic pain that still resonates in the pipe organ. They want something of you. You think that you finally understand what you are confronting. The disembodied death agony of hundreds of souls has accumulated in the pipe organ either by design or accident. The negative energy manifests itself as a single entity, a self-aware super spirit of anger and rage. You suspect that you are witnessing the end result of many a black mass and vile sacrifice. It wants your help to free itself, to seek retribution. Many years ago, it was sabotaged by the will of its creator. It needs you to seek out its missing parts and a sheet of music that can release it from its trapped rage. First, find the grandfather clock, where the missing parts are hidden. Then confront and destroy the evil organ master ghost that weaved the binding spell and hid the missing parts. It possesses a sheet of music that, when played, will break the curse. Well, we can level immediately. I'm going to save the game before I do so, because this is going to take a bit of thought. What do I take? I don't think there's anything that improves my cups and pentacles. There is not. Very rarely have I ever taken Stealth Specialist. Flee evade edges are not the best in the world. You'd never really want to flee if you can help it. And evade trap edges are so useful that it's almost always better just to take this. Mechanical devices are nice, but we are only ever able to increase our cups once through mechanical devices. And I'm going to want that a lot higher than just 3. So that's going to leave me with Athletics Specialist or Stealth Specialist. I think since we already have some knowledge, Kira, in dodging traps, we will take Athletics. You hold the odd obstacle course record at the secret training facility known as the Meadows. Many of your fellow agents think that you are crazy in your devotion to physical fitness, but it has paid off time and time again. You have survived mishaps that would have killed most agents. Yeah, she does look pretty lithe. We'll increase our cups, defensive heroic edges, evade trap edges, and we will earn a cup's bone. We'll go for 1 point in cups next. Now, I don't think this will be the organ ghost, even though this is the organ room. I'm curious as to what this could be, actually. A disturbing tapestry. Your attention is drawn to an old tapestry hanging on the wall that depicts a medieval battle of some sort. It looks like it should be in a museum. Examining the battle scene a little closer, you immediately notice the large red hand that divides 2 groups of armored knights. Suddenly, the battle seems to come to life. Knights charge the hand on both sides and are knocked to the ground. You stare at it in amazement, wondering if you are hallucinating. Your eyes widen in disbelief as the battle unfolds before you. A ghostly vapor seems to enshroud the tapestry. I'm already missing justice. Ugh. Your mind is weak. You struggle to maintain your sanity. Cursed artifacts give you the creeps. You remember that night that you spent in the museum at Miskatonic University. You still can't remember several days from that mission. The tapestry is obviously animated by some type of sorcery. It might even be possessed by some malign spirit. You should proceed with caution. It isn't unheard of for something like this to function as a doorway or portal to another dimension. Once in, you might not get back out. This is the second part of a quest, so we'll come back for that. Oh, wow. That's a 100% chance to appear for that. I like to not use it so early in the game, though, if possible. Smoking room? A coffee room. A strange gong. You see a large wood and brass gong. It looks completely out of place standing over by itself in the room. You sense immediately, though, that all is not as it seems here. You've seen enough of these things to notice the faint aura that surrounds it. You have no doubt that the gong is a sorcerer's puzzle of some sort. The markings are vague, but you would place it around the period of the Three Kingdoms. There is definitely dark magic at work here. The runes covering the wooden frame must contain the instructions on how to use the gong and access its abilities. So, we know the quest that this leads us to, and we are not quite ready for that. I would want 2 more points in cups, probably a point in pentacles, and maybe 1 more in wands. The final challenge, I think, uses wands, cups, and swords, actually, so this is going to be tough for Kira. We're going to leave this alone. The thought of all that noise scares you. The fact that you have no idea what will happen if you do sound the gong scares you even more. A ballroom. We'll get a quest here for some ghosts, if I recall correctly. And actually, the ghost we need to kill for the organ might be in there, too. But I want to see what's here first. A pair of scything blades. Suddenly, you look up and see 2 scything blades racing down the hallway at you. They are razor sharp and suspect they might be able to cut you in half. We have a much better chance to duck under the blades, so you don't see anything coming at you in a stagger. At a lower level, you decide that the smart move is under the blades. That's a lot of pages, and a lot of high number cards. We just have to hope we don't get all high-level face cards here. That's not a good start. Nope, we have lost. Nothing we can do. Your reflexes are getting slow. You hope you come out of this alive. I will use my talisman on a trap failure. I don't want to get a wound so early in the game. A mailroom. A face in a vase. You notice the eerie glow at first. There is a large vase set on a pedestal. The opaque glass base is topped with a ceramic lid that is marked with strange runes and glyphs. As you observe the vase, a face materializes within it. It swirls around inside, locked in a horrific silent scream. The face in the vase is truly disturbing. You can't actually hear it scream, but the expression evokes an overwhelming urge in you to scream as well. I don't want to lose horror checks this early. We were right down to 8 sanity. Your mind is strong. You resist the urge to scream and gather your wits and courage. The face swirls around the interior of the vase, illuminated from within by a ghostly blue energy. The silent scream still echoes in your ears, or perhaps only your imagination. You recognize the vase's construction and the runes etched along its lid. This is a spirit jar. Its sole purpose to bottle up and slowly leech off energy from powerful beings. You should proceed with caution. So, I mean, we can fight it and banish it, but we know this is part of a quest. So we will leave it alone. The ghostly ball. Suddenly in front of you materialize a group of figures dressed in suits and evening gowns, waltzing with partners unhappily around the room. The surprise appearance from thin air catches you off guard and startles you. This ghostly ball is quite disconcerting, even though the ghosts seem to be unaware of your presence. You struggle to keep a rein on any fears that would chip away at your sanity. The ghostly ball is silent and disquieting. You struggle to keep your composure. The deathly silence that encompasses this ghostly ball strikes you as odd. Although the ghosts themselves seem oblivious to your presence, you feel a definite tension in the air. The ghosts themselves seem quite displeased about something. It doesn't appear to have anything to do with you. Then you notice what is so odd. None of the ghosts are dancing. They start to partner up, but then each time the dance is set to begin, nothing happens. You decide to use your training as a medium to make contact and find out what seems to be troubling them. There's always a risk with this type of action. Do I think I'll get a knight up there? Pentacles. We'll take the chance. Well, we did. And of course it was a king. You make the rounds from couple to couple until you find one that wants to talk. There seems to be a problem with the ball. Maybe you can help. The ghosts explain that the band will not play without its pianist, and they have no idea where the fellow is. You hear a chubby old monocle-wearing ghost sitting near the wall chuckle, with his piano, of course. You contemplate the ghost's meeting, and you suspect that a piano will indeed be the key to this mystery. So there is a piano room in the house, in addition to the organ room. So this vampire found a mansion that plays lots of music. Surprised we haven't gotten a random battle yet. But I guess I shouldn't complain about that. An office. A spray of darts. You feel your foot step down on the pressure plate and then hear the pneumatic sounds of darts being shot through blow tubes. You catch a glimpse of the deadly swarm of needle-tip killers heading your way. You notice what you think is a gap in the wall of darts heading your way. You decide to crouch into it. Oh, come on, game. Screw you. Wow. You completely misjudge that situation and get the full force of the wall of flying darts. There goes our talisman, protecting us from only 2 damage. That's not very lucky. So we started really lucky with a reckless charge and some good experience points. We've lost that luck immediately, losing our talisman. That sucks. A pile of papers. You see a bunch of papers spread out on top of a desk. Among the clutter are an assortment of old envelopes, letters, and even a few parchment papers. We will come back for this later. I don't want to search it at this moment. We found a clue. -1 target level. You find the charred remains of a crucifix on the floor. It looks like it just burst into flames and then went out. We're going to go upstairs briefly. You know by now I like at least putting this on the map. Oh, that'll be the... that's the Jack-in-a-Box hallway. I haven't seen that in a long time. We'll go around this dinner room, the dining room here. Search this room, and then we'll probably call it quits at that point. The glutton. This is probably the glutton. No, a haunted painting of a coward. You notice an odd painting hanging on the wall. It is a portrait of a man dressed in 19th century clothing who appears to be completely petrified with fear. He holds a dueling pistol in both hands, and a group of undertakers in the background seem to be digging a grave. Suddenly, the portrait seems to animate and come to life. The coward looks at you with an imploring expression as if he was seeking your help. You could swear that you can hear the gravediggers laughing. You stare at the man in the painting, and his fear seems contagious. You need to fight to keep your sanity. Your mind is strong. In a playful way, you exclaim "boo" to the ghost, and he starts to shake and sob uncontrollably. The coward in the portrait seems to be actually shivering. He seems to be fumbling with his dueling pistol, and you fear he will discharge it accidentally. There is obviously a spirit trapped in the painting by some sorceress curse. I still have no idea how to actually get the quest from this guy. So we're just going to duel him. The ghost is obviously scared. Well, we could just run. Let's run. We'll come back for him later. You can't believe you're even thinking this, but running from this cowardly creature might be the best course of action. It still is a supernatural apparition, so you'll need to conquer your own fears first. It wasn't that difficult after all. You feel a little sheepish about it, but nobody else has to know. Oh, we lose courage from that? What the heck, Vic Davis? I am slowly going through the game and removing the courage penalty for fleeing. It seems unnecessarily harsh in this game. It seemed impossible at first, but slowly you recognize the sounds of clinking glasses and the soft murmur of conversation. A long dining table stands in front of you, surrounded on all ends by dusty chairs. As you come nearer, you think you detect some movement around the table, and the hairs on your arms begin to stand on end. It's suddenly very cold. A ghostly face peers out from behind one of the chairs, and in a heartbeat, you see the apparition seated all around the table. The scene twists at the very threads of your sanity. You struggle to comprehend this brush with the supernatural. You have rarely seen this many ghosts congregated together before. You have kept your sanity. You hardly feel at ease, but your willpower is rock steady. You are confronted with a very unusual scene. You stand before a dinner party of ghosts who for the most part seem completely oblivious to your presence. Occasionally you see a ghost looking around as if trying to find a servant. However, most seem fully preoccupied with ghostly gossip and dinner chatter. Let's interrupt them. You decide to use your powers as a medium to tap your ectoplasmic knife against the glass and grab their attention. Maybe a direct approach will let you start a conversation so that you can gather some information. Of course, there are some risks involved with this approach. Oof, we'll just fail this. Rows of ghosts head turned towards you and gaze expectantly. They seem to stare right through you, and then before you know it, the entire group is back at its mindless chatter and pleasantries. That is much more like it. And thankfully, we didn't get a King of Pentacles up here immediately. Rows of ghostly heads turn towards you and gaze expectantly. You offer a pithy toast and they seem pleased. Before you know it, you are gabbing away. The general consensus is that the lack of a proper dessert is spoiling the festivities. You hear raucous cries for dessert, and many of the ghostly guests are looking expectantly towards you. Would you be so good as to find a butler and order our dessert? I'm going to walk these 2 steps. Nothing there. And I guess we'll search this room, everyone, and then we'll call it quits. We're probably going to get the baker or the butcher in this room. We'll come back for that room. An old refrigerator. You come across an odd sight for this house, and that is saying something. Before you stands a 1922 Kelvinator refrigeration unit. Who knows how it got here? You notice that the door is hanging slightly ajar. Your eyes are drawn to the interior of the main porcelain cabinet, and you are shocked by what you see. Jars and jars of internal organs, some human, some you are not sure of. Your stomach turns at the sight of all the neatly stacked organ jars. The methodical alignments and the precision of the stacking makes you wonder about the evil obsessive-compulsive genius behind this? Does it? Question mark? Your mind is strong. You aren't going to go looking around for sandwich fixings, but the sight of the organs and tissues, many of them still moving, doesn't really faze you. Rows of neatly stacked transparent jars and specimen dishes containing organs and tissue samples fill the inside of the main porcelain cabinet, each labeled in a neat mechanical handwritten script. You glance over the labels, noting some of the stranger ones. Krogan, Asari, Drell, Turian. On the bottom shelf is a rack holding dozens of vials, each also neatly labeled. Zugul venom? Trace of the Beyond? Gnat's acid? You don't want to mess with this right now. Okay, everyone. I think that will do it for us. So we'll stop here. Let's review the situation. So, we're not doing so well on the traps. Thankfully, we would have only lost 2 life, which is not unbearable. We could have taken a wound early on, though. Failing a trap without getting a single success, that is painful. We've lost our only talisman to start as well. That really sucks. We do, however, what we did, gain Reckless Charge. A heroic feat, which is very nice to get so early in the game. Oh, I see. But to use Heroic Charge, we need 3 swords and 3 cups. We don't have 3 swords and 3 cups, so that's not going to be something we use, I would imagine, then. Oh, so that's actually not so good. That's really useless. Though I suppose it does give us something to dump our courage into. We have leveled, well, a few times. We increased our wands once, and we grabbed a new skill card. We are attempting to increase our cups another point. Alright, everyone. Well, I'll see you guys when we come back. Thank you for watching, and take care, everyone.